I tried to make this video once before. This is proving to be really, really hard. I have been trying to make this video about what really happened between Josh's family and us, because this has been going on for some time. It's not really going on right now. I mean, we haven't heard from them or anything, but I just kind of wanted to clear it up because I know a lot of people are wondering, and when I asked on my YouTube if anybody wanted me to talk about it, I got some messages telling me, yeah, you should make a video. I'm really curious because things were going so good. God, my nose ring. I want to know what's happened. And yeah, I don't mind putting it out there. I mean, it gives me something to talk about, I guess. It's a huge, long story. Okay. So first of all, it wasn't me that has torn the family apart. I mean, it was, but not by my conscious doing. I never told Josh, I don't want you talking to your family. Oh, stay away from them. Nothing like that. I loved his family. I wanted nothing more than to be part of that family. And they're the ones that pulled away and that pulled back. So they pulled back because of me, because they don't like me, as always. And I've apparently screwed up in some unknown way, or some way that offended them without them telling me or talking to me like an adult. They just sat back and started making up lies and holding a grudge, which really sucks, because I was hoping for once in my life I would come across people that weren't like that, that would actually be good, decent people and wouldn't fall into the trap of going to the hate sites and listening to rumors and lies, but they did, or at least his brother did. But I'll get into all that. So firstly, gosh, I feel a hair on my face. Oh, sorry. Firstly, before I got here, I talked to his mom a couple of times, and she was really, really nice. On the flight, she was really nice. You know, she wished me well on my flight. When I met her face to face, she came up and gave me a big ol' hug, and it was like, it was great, you know. I mean, she would take me to go and try to get my social security card and my ID card and stuff sorted, and we go out for lunch, and then she got us a tree for Christmas, and it was like, I really felt like I was part of something. You know, we spent Thanksgiving with his family and everything, and everything was just, it was just amazing, you know. I thought his mom was gonna be like one of my best friends. You know, we were so much alike, and we could just talk and talk and talk, and we really got along. I thought we really got along, and I really, really liked her. Then came the crash. If you remember, about December 7th of 2017, we were in a pretty bad car accident. Now, this is the first real accident I've ever been into, and it was super scary. If anybody that films YouTube, well, anybody that films YouTube will know that filming kind of puts you in a different headspace. You know, when you get to film your life or talk about your life, it kind of separates you a little from reality. It's like, it's almost like it's happening to somebody else. It's a great way to cope. It's a great way to vent. It's a great way just to kind of, oh God, what is that word? It's a great way to like understand and process what's happening to you sometimes. And when this happened, I thought I was going to die. I mean, I've never been hurt like that before. I've said it before. And the fact that I don't talk to Dorian, I didn't know if I had died. Maybe I put it out there what had happened, and he'd at least know what happened to his mother if he ever cared to check one day. And for my subscribers and the people that were like family to me, I wanted them to know as well, so I didn't just vanish and disappear one day. But when I went to the hospital, we just made a really quick video saying we were in a car crash and mentioned what the doctor had said happened to me, which was I had bruising on my brain, I had a broken rib, partially deflated lung, lacerated kidney, my liver was bleeding, I needed blood transfusion, and I had other cuts and bruises, internal bleeding and stuff. And did I say that already? I don't know. But to me, that was a lot. I mean, I was hearing all this, and I said, but, I mean, am I fine? Am I going to be okay? trying to look for some good news, and they wouldn't give me any. They didn't say, oh yeah, you know, those are superficial injuries, you should be fine, you got very lucky. They just said, well, I don't know, you know, you've got this internal bleeding, and we need to monitor you, we need to see what happens, we're going to keep checking your blood count, and we don't know anything yet. We just have to take it day by day. But for now, you know, of course I have to be in ICU and everything and be monitored. And I was like I was so scared. And hearing that didn't give me like a shred of hope. So yeah, I made a short video. Josh and I were just in a car accident. Pretty bad one. I'm in the hospital and ICU. They're keeping me overnight. We were hit side on my side. Both cars were like totaled, glass broken, smashed everywhere. Josh,
stuff involved,
everything. Josh is gonna explain what's wrong with me. I'm just sending this to a couple of people right now to know what happened in case something goes wrong, because I've actually got some pretty serious injuries.
And she has fractured rib, some kidney damage, some liver damage. She hit her head on the window on the right side, so she has
bleeding,
slight bruising on her brain. Yeah, she has a little bit of air in her lungs, but it should heal itself.
Collapsed lung.
Yeah, slightly collapsed lung. But they have her on. They have her on everything. She's comfortable right now. I'm laying out of work to stay with her overnight. I've already cleared it with my bosses, so I'm gonna stay with her overnight. She should be fine.
So they might have to give me blood. I've got an IV in that arm, an IV in this arm. I've got compression stuff on my calves, and they're going to be doing blood tests and all kinds of stuff, because I guess you can call it internal bleeding, because I'm bleeding, my liver's bleeding. They said I've got a cut, like, what, like,
It's about
that, I can't see,
3-4 inches long.
3-4 inches long cut on my liver, and like bruising on my kidneys and stuff, and my second rib on my left side is cracked, broken.
Not completely broken.
Yeah, not like broken off, but it's broken. And just a quick update. What's that? His mom blocked me, unfriended me, blocked me, and I didn't know at the time, but she had messaged Josh, and she said, "What the fuck is what the fuck is the crash doing on YouTube, or you two doing on YouTube? I'm more upset about this than I am about what happened last night," or something like that. It was along the lines of, she cared more about the fact that I made a video than we crashed into another couple. That couple could have died. The woman had a broken rib as it was. I could have died, or Josh could have died. She couldn't look at the fact that luckily everybody was alive. She was just more mad that I talked about the fact that we were in a crash than she was about the crash herself. And that made me so mad. Especially because I didn't even talk about her. I didn't bring up it was her car or her anything. I didn't bring her up at all. So it's my life, mine and Josh's. Josh was fine with me posting the video. I mean, he talked on it too, you know. But she was mad for nothing, no reason at all. I mean, I get that she was upset that it was her car. I mean, but her upsetness over her car should have been secondary to her relief that her son was okay, but it wasn't. And I didn't know that at the time. After the crash, she changed a lot. She got really cold, really distant. Josh went over quite a few times to help her clean out her house because she was moving. And he tried to talk to her and say, look, you know, things are different. They're really weird. What is going on? We need to talk about this. And she's like, well, I didn't like that you had, you know, that she made that video and she talked about it and blah, blah, blah. And you know, he said, well, she didn't know, she didn't talk about you or anything. I mean, it was something that happened to us. It was our right. And, you know, they were able to kind of talk it through, but she never really got back to the way she was. And, you know, there was a little glitch early on that I chose to ignore because I really, really wanted things to work out between me and her. And that was his brother's girlfriend. Now, his brother and his brother's girlfriend have been together since January, and Josh and I got together in June, so they haven't been together that much longer than me and Josh have. So she's not like a staple part of their family or anything like that. I mean, she didn't even live in the same state. She lived in Georgia and they were in South Carolina, which isn't far, but you know, it wasn't like they saw her all the time or anything. She hadn't even met Josh's sister at that point in face to face. And she was gossiping with Josh's mom, saying that we had moved out of the first place that we were in because we owed on the power bill, and we were trying to ditch the place and run off and escape our debts, which is a load of crap, and it's wrong, and they shouldn't be gossiping about us, especially about stuff that's wrong. It has nothing to do with them at all, and we didn't leave because of that. We didn't ditch our bills or ditch our responsibilities. What happened was the first place we lived at had a big hole in the master bedroom that they told us they were going to fix. They never fixed it. We couldn't get them to come over and fix it. We paid our rent, but they couldn't come over and fix that. There was no door on the back bedroom, and we were infested with mice. Like, I put traps out, and I caught over 7 mice in less than a month, and we kept hearing them coming and coming, and they were brave. Like, they wouldn't wait until it was dark. I'd sit there in bed, and I'd hear something next to me because I had my suitcase open with my clothes in it. There was no food or anything. It was just folded up shirts and things. And I'd turn around, and there's a damn mouse in my suitcase, and they would just run across. We'd just see mice running across the bedroom floor going to the bathroom. Like, they just run all over the house. They weren't scared of anything. Not only that, but they made a nest and had babies in the stove somewhere. We opened the stove, we looked through it, we couldn't find exactly where the nest was, but we'd walk out and randomly find little pinkies in front of the stove. And we couldn't use the stove because as soon as you turn it on, you could smell like the pee, the mouse pee, and you see the little droppings everywhere. So we asked them if they could replace the stove because it wasn't sanitary and we couldn't use it to cook. And they wouldn't even return our phone calls. So we had to buy our own stove out of our own money that we really didn't have back then and replace the stove ourselves. And it just got to be too much, you know, with the mice constantly. They're coming out by the water heater. They're coming out in the kitchen. We couldn't get rid of them. And that with the floor and everything, it just wasn't worth it to us. So after we pay the rent, before the rent for the next month was due, we found another place to live. His mom actually hooked us up to this next place, and we went there. Now that place we left because that place was overrun with roaches, and there were more roaches than I've almost ever seen in my life. I might have video footage of some of the stuff that I was using when I was talking to the owner of the place that we ended up moving to after that. If I can find it, I'll put it here. If not, then you know, obviously I won't. but there was this wooden, not really a bar, but kind of like a counter. There was a sink here, and there was like a counter next to it, and that counter was, well, it was wooden, and inside that wood lived all the roaches. I mean, you tap on it, roaches scatter everywhere. I've never seen so many roaches in my life. I had a little plastic container that had a screwdriver and a cloth that I used to use to clean my glasses, and inside there, roaches, like a handful of roaches. Roaches in all our books and all our boxes and our clothes and everything. And the screen door wasn't fixed, and wasps would come in and make their nest right inside the front door, and so I get trapped inside because I'm terrified of bugs. And we kept asking them to repair the screen door, and they wouldn't do that. And they had a dog outside, and the dog would just be barking and barking and barking and barking. We couldn't even have a bag of trash outside without them calling over, "You need to take that trash away." Like, we're gonna take it away. It's just a bag. There's no trash service out here. You know, give us a chance to get rid of it. They just bother us all the time for everything little like that, but they wouldn't fix anything. The outlets were hanging out of the wall. Like, you could see that much of the back of the outlet. It was just completely coming out. You could see the wires and everything behind it, which wasn't safe. And the walls didn't connect to the floor. If you bend down and you look at the bottom of the wall, you could see outside. That's probably where all the bugs were coming from. So all in all, it was just not a very good place. It wasn't well put together at all, and they wouldn't do anything to help us. They wouldn't help us fix anything, but they hounded us all the time for every little thing that we did. Happy to take the money, but not happy to fix anything. So we knew we needed to get out of there. And plus, living in Saluda, it was such a small town. There's just not a lot of opportunity out there, not a lot of jobs or money or anything. And to go back to reminding you guys of how we were, for those of you that forgot or that didn't know, when I first moved here from New Zealand, I couldn't bring much with me. I mean, I brought quite a bit. I brought like 9 suitcases or something like that, or 6 or 7. I brought quite a few things with me because I knew that's all I'd have until I could afford to send for my stuff. Josh lived on his own. He lived in this house, and his brother lived with him. Sometimes his brother's son would come visit. Sometimes his mom would stay over. I think there were 2 bedrooms there. One he gave to his brother, and the other one was a spare room that he used for his mom or his brother's son. Josh would just usually fall asleep on the couch watching TV. He never owned much. He never needed much. He was a bachelor. You know, he was quite happy just to go to work, come home, get some fast food, and watch TV and then go to sleep, or play Xbox and go to sleep or something. And when I came here, he didn't like that house. You know, he had his own reasons for not wanting to live there, so he left, and he got us that first place. But he didn't have anything to put in it. So I came here, I still had $700 left, and we went to the store and bought an air mattress, 'cause that's all we could afford, especially on short notice. I got an air mattress, one set of sheets, one really thin blanket, a pillow each, and some food. 1 plate each, bowl, fork, you know, things like that. We really had nothing. And we had no money. We were probably as close to being at the bottom as anybody could be without being actually homeless. And we were starving. You know, a lot of the times we didn't have any food. We didn't have anything at all. We weren't doing good. We were really, 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 really struggling. And over time, he ended up getting better jobs. You know, he was let go unexpectedly from FedEx because some guy bought the company and fired half of the staff. He had to scramble for a new job, and he found one that he really, really loved, which happened to be pretty close to the second place that we lived at. And over time, we ended up raising ourselves up and being able to get a car. Like, we didn't even have a car back then. we were able to get a car and move and try to buy our own home, get a proper bed and furniture and a chest freezer and food, and you know, we're not rich and we still struggle, you know, quite a bit, but nothing like we were. And we were really happy when we started doing better for ourselves. I'll get back to that in a minute. That actually is relevant to the story. But things with his mom were still not good. She still didn't want to talk to me. She still was very closed and cold. And Josh told me that he had talked to her once, and she had said that she was mad because I made the video. That's when I finally found out she was upset because of the video. And I said, well, I didn't know she would get mad about the video because I didn't talk about her or her car. And, you know, I have talked about her in videos before, and she never had an issue with it. And I said, you know what, can you invite her over? I'll cook lunch or dinner or something, and or we can have a cup of tea or coffee, and we could talk it out. If we could just clear the air, and I can explain to her, she could tell me what's wrong, I can apologize and explain, then maybe we can get over this and move on, because I really liked her. I don't want this to ruin whatever relationship we might have. And he asked her, she wouldn't come over. She wouldn't give him an answer. That's what started it. From then on, for the next like year, she refused to talk to me. Like, I wanted to sit down and like, let's just talk this whole thing out, because this was made into a really big issue over an honest mistake. But it wasn't really a mistake, because she never told me not to talk about her, and I didn't talk about her. You know, I only talked about what happened to us, and I still don't understand why she was that mad about the video. It wasn't about the crash, it was about the video. That's the thing. And like, I would have understood, I do understand, you know, she had gotten this car. I mean, I thought it was a really nice car. It was a Ford Fiesta. Is it a Ford? It was a Fiesta. It was really nice. I really liked it. And but it was an honest accident. I wasn't filming or having Josh film or take pictures of me. It was nothing like that. He wasn't drinking. It was just it was an accident that could have happened to anybody, and she didn't understand, I guess. But I tried, and 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 things just were just bad, really, really bad. And I was able to give her $4,000 to buy her a new car. And we, you know, it wasn't as much as her car was worth, but it was still a pretty good amount of money. And it was actually exactly what we paid for our car. So, you know, I mean, we didn't do any better than her or anything. I was able to do it for her, and I did. And I was hoping, okay, when we go to take her to pick up her car, maybe we can talk. You know, she'll agree finally, since she has her car, she'll want to talk to me now. Nope. She sat behind me, and we were telling her, you know, how we were moving, and he got a better job. He got a really good job that he was super, super happy with. And, you know, we were going to be buying our own home and all this stuff. And instead of being happy for us, especially knowing how we were struggling before, she wasn't. She's like, well, you're moving too far. Well, you know, well, isn't it? And I was like, watching Josh's face fall, you know, and I was just thinking, you know, she should be happy for her son, that he's trying to make a better life for himself, instead of staying where he was and just struggling and starving, having to borrow money all the time. You know, where's the pride or the good job, son, or, you know, thank you for the car or anything? Nothing. There's nothing. She kind of talked at the back of my head. We didn't talk things out or anything, and I was not happy with the end result of the day, and I told Josh that. And she called, we're sitting in the Walmart parking lot, and she called him for something or other, and he said, look, Raven's right here next to me. Can you just talk to her really quickly for 5 minutes? And she's like, nah, I'm gonna go eat. I'll call her later. And I was like, man, I just gave her $4,000, and she can't even give me 5 minutes of her time. And it was humiliating and heartbreaking, and it made me really, really angry. And I was like, she's never going to call. What the hell is her problem? You know, I should have never given her that money, but it was the right thing to do, so I did. And yeah, she never called. We ended up moving, and anytime she would text Josh, he would ask her again, because he was starting to get frustrated with it too. Can you just talk to Raven? Just once. Just talk to her 5 minutes. Have one conversation with her. And she'd get so angry that he dared to ask her to talk to me to clear the air between us. She wouldn't text him back for a couple weeks. And of course she never did. She never said anything. And finally he told her, you know what? If you're not going to talk to my wife, or you're going to disrespect her, you're doing this, you're hurting me as well, then I'm not going to talk to you again until you talk to her. But she still wouldn't do it. So then he cut her off. He's like, no, I'm not talking to you. And he quit talking to her. So, of course, this was approaching Thanksgiving, and we knew, since things were so bad, we weren't going to go over and spend Thanksgiving with them, because awkward, you know? She doesn't want to talk to me. How could I show my face there? I mean, no. Unless things are even and fine again, there's no way we'd be seeing them. And he knew that, and I knew that, and it was already agreed on, decided, whatever. He had been telling his brother the whole time everything that's been going on, trying to talk to him. His brother was not sympathetic at all. He's just like, oh, I'm just tired of this, just get over it. Like, Josh would be like, you tell her to get over it. How would you feel if this was your girlfriend, and your girlfriend is being treated like that? And he had no answer for that. And around that time, I think it was all before Thanksgiving. His brother had written and said, hey, we're all getting together at your sister's house for Thanksgiving. And Josh didn't say anything because his brother knew what was going on, and that we wouldn't be spending any holidays with them until this was sorted out and everybody was getting along again. And he wrote back after Josh didn't say anything, and he said, well, you don't have to answer, I was just letting you know. And Josh said, yeah, I know, but you know the deal, you know what's going on. He said, yeah, I know. And after Thanksgiving, I checked on, I always kind of used to check on his mom and his brother and his brother's girlfriend, just to see what his family was up to. And I went to go check on his brother's girlfriend, and she had unfriended me. And I was like, I thought me and her were on okay terms. You know, we weren't friends or anything, but, you know, last time I talked to her, I just said, well, let's make wish lists for each other for Christmas, because none of us really know each other that good. Not just me and her, but her and Josh. And, you know, it was just really hard and awkward the Christmas before. And I had said that to her before the crash happened, before all this stuff happened. And that's actually when her and Josh's mom were gossiping about why we were moving out of the first place, which was none of her business, and she was spreading false information anyway. But I never called her out on it or said anything. I was just like, I don't want to get into it. I don't want to cause trouble and isolate myself from yet another family. I'm just going to ignore it and hope it was a misunderstanding. And I just didn't say anything more about it. I told Josh I was upset, and that's about it. But that's the last thing I said to her, and that was many, many months before. So I wrote her and I said, very nicely, I made sure that I was nice to her, because I didn't want to start a fight with her and his brother, because that was like all we had left, you know, of his family. And I said, can I ask you why you unfriended me? And she said, can I ask why you went on Josh's profile and unfriended me for unfriending you? And I was like, I didn't do that. He did that, because he did. As soon as I told him that she unfriended me, he's like, well, if she's going to be like that, she doesn't need to be on my friends list. And he went and he unfriended her. And she didn't believe that he would dare unfriend her. Like, who the hell does she think she is? And I said, Josh is an adult. He can do what he wants to do. I don't control him or who he friends or unfriends. I didn't make him unfriend you. He did it because, you know, it was the right thing to do or whatever. And she started on, like, just being a total bitch. Like, she was being a huge, huge bitch for no reason at all. And she was saying that she didn't like how when I came around, he quit talking to his family and he quit having anything to do with them and this and that. But the thing is that his family has always pretty much disrespected him. Josh has always been a really good guy, and he was like their their gopher, you know, like, oh, I need dog food. Go pick me up some dog food. I need a beer. I need cigarettes. And they wouldn't care if he was tired or if he had been working all day or, you know, if he had other things to do. They would just always ask him to go do this, do this, do this, do this, do that. And he did it because not only is he a good guy, but he didn't have a girlfriend or anything. I mean, he didn't live with anybody anyway. So there was no reason for him not to. Once I came here, we were taking the time to spend time together and get to know each other because, you know, we had just met 4 months before I moved here. So we didn't really have a lot of time to get to know each other. And I just gotten here. I moved halfway across the world to be with him. Of course, we deserved the time to get to know each other and to be together, but they didn't understand that. They were just mad that he wasn't being their little bitch boy anymore. And not once did they ever ask if they could stop by and visit with us or call him and text him to see how he was doing. They expected him to call and text and check on everybody and go visit everybody. And that also made me angry. And one night, his stepdad called him, wanted him to go and pick him up some beer. And Josh was like, he didn't have any money and he was tired. He just gotten off work because at FedEx, he'd go in at like 6 in the morning, drive an hour to work, and sometimes he wouldn't get home until like midnight, maybe even 2, 3 in the morning. And this time I think it was like 11:30, and he was so tired he could barely even stand up, and his stepdad wanted him to go out and get him beer. And I said, that's the only time I stepped in and said something like that. I said, you know, I don't want you going out there. You're not his errand boy. You just got off of work, you're tired, they need to understand that you have a life now and you're not gonna just, you know, it's not the same as it was before I got here. And it's late, and it's not safe for you to be driving when you're that tired. He's just gonna, you need to stand up to him and tell him no. And he's like, you know what, you're right. And he said, no, you know what, I'm tired, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna just run out and get you beer. And he tried to tell his daddy he loved him when he hung up, and his dad was so mad because Josh wouldn't run out and get him beer. He just hung up on him. Didn't even say I love you. He never called to chat with him or see how he was doing or congratulate him. They only ever wanted him if he could come visit or do something for them. His sister and I were on good terms at first, and then I had tried to add her. Well, she was on my friends list, and then she unfriended me, and I tried to add her. I didn't know she unfriended me. I think I changed profiles, and I tried to add her to my new one, and she wouldn't accept it. And I was like, did you get my friend request? And she was like, no, I didn't see anything. And I said, oh, maybe it didn't go through. I'll resend it. And every few days I keep resending and resending and resending, and finally, it turned out she was getting them all the time, but because she's a nurse and she's worried about her career, for some reason she thinks if she was on my friends list that the hate sites would be able to see everything about her, which is not true. It's only true if they are on her friends list. And instead of just manning up and being an adult and telling me she was worried about her career and them finding her, which they know his whole family, and they know his whole family because he used to have them all tagged on his profile, not me. She kept lying to me and pretending she wasn't getting my friend's requests. And that was also embarrassing, and it made me feel like about this big. Like, she couldn't even be honest with me and just tell me. So I'm sitting here like an ignorant idiot, you know. Oh, you didn't get my friend's request? Okay, well, I'll just resend it. You know, I didn't want to think that she was lying to me, but she did, and that hurt. That sucked too. So anyway, with the girlfriend, we got into it bad because I tried to explain to her. I still kept my calm, you know, I wasn't cussing her out or anything. And I said, well, you don't know what it feels like. I've been trying to talk to his mom for months and months. Do you know what it feels to be ignored like that? You know, what it feels like to be ignored that way, and blah, blah, blah. And I kind of gave her a short breakdown of what had happened, you know, how many times I've been trying to reach her, and the fact that she just refused to take my calls or text me, or said, well, you can just remove yourself from my messenger. I've got nothing to say to you. And I was like, oh, you better, you know, I was like, you fuck off. And that's when I got mad, and I told her she can fuck right off, and they all deserve each other. and I blocked her. And then his brother writes me, and he fucking comes at me and starts calling me a bitch and this and this and this and that. And I said, look, I can ask you, your fucking girlfriend. I said, I can ask your stupid girlfriend a stupid question. You know, it's just a stupid question. I can ask her why she unfriended me. It wasn't a big deal. It was just a stupid question. And he went off on me, and then, oh, because I said stupid girlfriend, oh, he came down on me. Oh, we're going to talk about this in person. You better believe it. Like he's trying to threaten me or something. And then Josh got involved because I blocked him. And so he wrote me all his threatening messages through Josh's text. And Josh got involved, and he was like, oh, you better wake up. She's crazy. Oh, this teenager that she marries. And he started talking in a certain way that made me realize that he's been going to the hate sites. And I told Josh this, and he didn't believe me. And I said, I know how people sound when they've gone there. They start quoting the stuff that the hate sites say about me, and he was quoting them directly. Things that he doesn't know anything about, because I don't really know his brother. He's been to my house, or our house, like twice. And, you know, he was nothing. He wasn't good or bad. He was just his brother. He had his own life going on, and he had his girlfriend, and it was just, didn't really see him, you know. He wasn't anything. And yeah, he just got all nasty saying that Josh is going to choose him over me and blah blah blah. And I was like, no, I know better, because Josh knows that I haven't done anything wrong in this situation, and you guys are being really unreasonable. He's not happy with this. And I was like, you better watch it, because Josh will cut you out before he cuts me out. And he's like, oh no, you won't. And he did. He's like, you know what, blocked his whole family, cut them all off because of how they were being. That didn't stop his brother. His brother has gone to my YouTube and to my fan page when I had it up. I actually had to shut down my fan page because of him. And he went to the hate sites, and he was posting on there, jumping on the whole I kill animals bandwagon, which again is nothing he knows anything about, because he doesn't even know me. Talking about me never working, which that's also a lie. And he's not one to talk, because for pretty much the whole time he's been an adult, or even, you know, old enough, he hasn't worked. He's been an alcoholic and a druggie, and he's actually crashed his mom's car drunk driving before. He was always the bad one. Josh was always the good one. And he dares to come at me like I've never worked, when I have worked. And I've worked since I've been in America, and I didn't work when I was in New Zealand, is when I didn't work. I used to work all the time when I was younger, and I worked and I raised my son by myself. But he likes to sit on his high horse and pretend, and then he's like all saying that we got all cocky because we were rich and we had all this money, and I only gave his mom a little bit. And it's like, that's a substantial amount of money that I gave her, and we're not rich. Most of the stuff that we bought was used, or it was cheap, you know. I mean, we cut corners everywhere that we can. And it wasn't that we were being cocky or bragging. We were just really happy that we weren't on the bottom anymore and struggling. You're allowed to be proud of yourself. You know, there's a difference between being like, ha ha, I'm better than everybody else, and being like, I'm really proud of where we are in our life. And that's all we've ever said. We're really proud of ourselves, because we had nothing, and we had to build on that nothing just to make something. And, you know, if there comes a month when we happen to be doing particularly well, then yeah, we can be really happy, because there are other months that we're not doing so well, and we feel like we're back at the bottom again. I mean, it's a yo-yo. It goes up and down. It's life. But you're allowed to be proud of yourself and your accomplishments, you know? And he didn't see that. He also brought up the dumbest thing, because I'm talking about this because I'm probably going to upload the screenshots as I do, and I want to explain everything that's in the screenshots. So he talks about mints on Christmas. Now, on Christmas, the last Christmas we had together, his stepdad showed up uninvited. And every year his mom either gets like a tin of popcorn for everybody or something like that. And this year she had gotten everybody just a cheap little pack of mints. And I already told you guys about the mouse infestation that we had at that house. And when everybody left, we only found one pack of mints. And there's two of us. Both of us got one. And we looked everywhere. We couldn't find it. So he texted around and he said, hey, did anybody grab the mints? Because if nobody had the mints, then they would be in our house somewhere, and we really needed to dig and find, because we can't just have candy laying around when there's mice everywhere. We need to know where that pack is. Not because we're like, oh, they're ours. I mean, they're like $1. We just didn't want candy laying around maybe in the wrapping paper, or, you know, because we had all the wrapping paper in the living room. We just wanted to locate it so we could get rid of it, or, you know, put it in the fridge or whatever, not just have it out to draw more rodents. And so his brother is trying to say that we were showing our ass over Christmas, calling around, bitching about it. We weren't bitching about it at all. We weren't even mad. We just wanted to know where it was. And it turned out that his stepdad took the extra one, so we're like, okay. I mean, it was not really a big deal. I don't like chocolate. I do like mints, but I don't like chocolate, and for the most part, I don't like candy, so it wasn't a big deal. And, of course, he tried to blame it on me, that I was the one getting all angry over it, which I definitely wasn't. So, yeah, after all this time, his brother really screwed up by going to the hate sites, because that's unforgivable. I don't see us ever talking to them again. His mom, she had so many chances to make it up and to make it right, and she wouldn't. And she had called him, because we have all their numbers blocked, but for some reason, for a little while, the voicemail was still going through. Now he's got that blocked as well, but for a little while it was going through. And she had called, yelling at him, because he had found out that his stepdad was also talking crap about me, and he's just like, I'm just fed up with this. And he called his stepdad, and he left a voicemail, and he was like, you know, what is this? I heard that you were talking shit about Raven. You know, you don't need to be talking about her like that. I don't know what the hell's wrong with everybody, or something like that. And he hung up, and his mom heard it. His mom and stepdad haven't been together for a really, really long time. I don't know why she still acts like she cares. He has a different girlfriend and all this stuff, but she still has her fingers in his life as well. And I guess he told her that Josh left that message, and she called here and left a voicemail yelling at him about how dare he talk to his stepdad like that. And at the end of her voicemail, she said that she really missed him, and she wishes that we could just all get over this and make up and just get back to where we were. And I was like, I'm still mad at her, but I saw Josh's face, and I know that he missed her. And so on my own, I decided when he was at work, I was going to try one more time. And I left the voicemails, which is the other video that I said that I was going to post here if I didn't make this understandable enough. And I laid out everything from the beginning way more clear than I probably did here. And I said, if you want to make up again, it's not Josh you need to talk to, it's me. We need to clear the air. You need to just give me a couple of minutes of your time. Let's just talk this out for the last time and get over this, and then we can move on. If you really miss him and you really want to get over this, just contact me. I will unblock you everywhere and give you a chance to respond. Just talk to me. And we can move on, and everything will be fine. And she watched the video, because I had it on a separate YouTube, because I have different YouTube accounts that aren't linked to me at all. So it was a YouTube account that is hidden, and it was unlisted, and I watched the views go up. So I know that she definitely watched it, and she never contacted me. Never. So how much could she really, really want to make up and have everything go back to normal if she can't even give me 5 minutes of her time? All this because I made a video because I was scared that I was going to die. I was trying to calm myself down, and, you know, back then I used to YouTube a lot. I'd make videos for everything, and she knew that. I mean, she subscribed to me a long time ago. And she never told me not to talk about her. She never told me not to mention her. I didn't think I did anything wrong, and the only time I did mention her was at the end of a 45-minute long video where I said that I feel so sorry for Josh's mom because it was her car we were in, and now she doesn't have a car. I wish there was something I could do to where I could replace that car for her. Literally, that's like all I said. And because of that, she's going to hold a grudge against me to the point of losing her own son. But that's just a little ridiculous to me. She couldn't understand or accept that he has a right to live his own life. And yeah, he's always been there for her, but he wasn't always going to be single and able to run her errands for her all the time. Like, I've got another screenshot from her where she had written him and asked, are you busy today? And he said, yeah, I think we have plans. And she said, can you go pick me up some dog food? And remember, this is the time she still had her own car. And he was like, well, I'm not sure. I'll see if we have time. She's like, well, never mind then. Sorry for bothering you. Like he's not allowed to have any time that wasn't dedicated to her. That was just a little bit of overkill, you know? And his brother wasn't much better. Like, his brother is just a piece of work. I'm not even going to go into that and the things that he's done, but he definitely is not one to talk. And he's sitting there trying to badmouth me and make me look bad, lying and lying. All those screenshots and things that he tried to say about me were lies and exaggerated truths, you know, and just talking out of his ass for no reason at all, like all cocky, thinking his brother would never turn his back on him when he's attacking his wife, which is me, for nothing. And I still maintain that it's nothing, because literally all I did was, there was a crash, I posted about it for my own reasons, because I was scared and I wanted my son to know in case I died, and my subscribers to know in case something happened to me. I was not told not to talk about it. I replaced her car. I apologized time and time and time again, and Josh and I moved, and he quit being everybody's gopher. That's literally all that happened. And they don't care. They don't want anything to do with us. Well, with me, and because of me, then Josh. And I think it's just a load of bullshit. It's a waste of energy, and it's all for nothing. But yeah, the fact that he went to the hate sites and tried to talk shit about something he doesn't even know, accuse me of shit that's not even true just to feed into their bullshit, that's completely unforgivable. And that's not happening. Josh is gonna actually cover the tattoo he has of his mom's name on his neck. He doesn't want that on his neck anymore. He doesn't want anything to do with her. And you know, like I had said, we had actually moved, so they don't even know where we are. They didn't know where we were in the first place. They had never been out to our house, but now we've moved since then, and now they really don't know where we are. So we're just about as hidden as you can get from his family, which is great. And it just sucks that it had to come to this for something stupid, but they showed their true colors now. I know who I'm dealing with, and so does Josh. He never thought that his family was capable of all this, but the signs were always kind of there. He just never picked up on it. Like, when he was engaged to the girl he was with before me, and as much as I hate her for what she did, I know that they were engaged. You know, he had a ring, and he said, will you marry me? And she said yes. They were engaged. But his mom always said they weren't engaged. It was just a girlfriend. And to me, that was really disrespectful, because they were engaged. You know, I don't care if she likes it or not. They were engaged. And she just always kind of saw Josh's relationships as being nothing, like nothing important, nothing real, pretty insignificant. And that was another, you know, warning sign that I saw that I chose to ignore, because I had hoped that I'd be different and she'd take me more seriously, because I moved like 6,000 miles to be with him. You know, I went above and beyond for him, and no, they just cared that their little whipping boy was gone. And that's really sad, because he is a really good guy, and he doesn't deserve them making him feel like less than nothing or not good enough. You know what I mean? I just don't agree with it at all. And yeah, anyway, that's the story. I hope it was coherent enough and you guys understood it. I know with stories like that with people that you don't know, it's really hard to kind of keep everything together when you don't know the people involved, and my focus is really off, so I'm trying really hard to kind of make it understandable. But I will post the screenshots, and hopefully they will be easy enough to understand or see, because you know they get kind of small. And if there's anything I need to add to it, then I will add to it later. But until then, take care, and I will see you guys when I see you.